Hi, this is Mashnu, and this is day 15 of the middle game training. Now, before we go into this position that you see here, I would like to give you some general advice. If you want to improve your chess, if you want to improve your middle game, it's not enough to simply watch these videos. Actually, the most valuable advice that I got from someone was that when we study chess, when we train ourselves, it's important to simulate as much as possible a real tournament situation. With this is meant that perhaps you have seen my video called the 3 minutes exercise. The 3 minutes exercise means that you get to a middle game position in a grandmaster game by replaying it, and then you try to guess the next move each time. You take about 3 minutes per move average, and you try to guess the next move. This is how we really learn and train ourselves, how we really improve our chess. Only watching examples is not enough. It will give you, of course, some insight on how grandmasters deal with situations, and while you listen to the explanation, you start understanding more about chess. But if you really want to improve, you need to add this own training method, and your training should be as similar as possible to the real game situation. It will cost you more time, that's true. You will spend more time studying, because doing one game with this 3 minutes exercise will take you about half an hour or 45 minutes perhaps, and if you want to then really understand why your guesses of the moves were not the right ones, you will spend perhaps 1 hour. So you will need time and you will need discipline, but I can assure you that the benefits will be much bigger. If you want to improve your chess, you need to work hard. There's no other way. There is no book and no video or no DVD, nothing that can give you 320 points for free. It's impossible. We need to work hard, and remember also that development of our chess strength is a slow process, and sometimes we make some big steps in short time, but in the long term it's a slow process, because we need to not only to understand the new concepts that we see, we need also to master them so good that we can apply them in our own games. Well, this about general training ideas. So we have actually 3 things: 1, watching the grandmaster examples; 2, training by simulating as if we were playing those games; and 3, very important, reviewing our own games, or reviewing them together with a stronger player, perhaps someone at your chess club, or you can send me your games and I analyze them and I make a video of them, things like that. Those 3 steps are very important in improving our chess or middle game. But well, let's go now to this position, because it's day 15 of the middle game training. This position was reached in a game in 1948 between 2 young players then, Lilienthal and Aronin. They were playing at the Russian Championship. I'm sorry, I must correct, it's the Soviet Championship, under 16, so for young players. And this is a very beautiful example of middle game position, middle game strategy. It's white to move here, and of course again I'm going to ask you to pause the video and have first a good look for yourself. What would you do here with white? I'll continue my explanation in a few moments. Alright, so what happens here is that white does have an advantage here. He has more space, he has the pair of bishops, and black has a weakness on b7. Also the back rank of black can become weak, let's say. Now the question is, what do we want to achieve with white? It would be beautiful if we could enter with our rook to the back rank to attack the black king. It would be also beautiful if we could get away this bishop from b6 so we can take on b7. Those are general ideas. This leads to actually 3 possible good moves. If we want to deflect this bishop from b6, we could think about playing bishop to e3. It's not the best move in the position, but this could be an idea. That he cannot take on e3 because then we take on b7, things like that. But he can of course take now on d5, and he eliminates then one of the attackers of b7. So if we retake here, c takes, then he can take on e3, and after queen takes e3, we have this position where still white is standing better, in the sense that the weakness on b7 is still there. So we can try to improve this, but it's a hard task here to continue this position and try to hold to this advantage. Let's have a look at the other possibilities, because instead of bishop to e3 there are 2 other options. One of them is rook to a1, very direct way to want to enter on a8. If black opens a little window on his king chamber by playing h6 to be able to escape to h7, we see the following things happening. The rook gives check, and after king to h7, now we move the bishop away to h4, and here we see another imbalance in the position, and that is that black doesn't have a light square bishop. So some light squares are very weak, for example f5. Already here we can try to enter on f5. Let's say black takes on d5 to eliminate this strong bishop that is in the center, attacking f7, attacking b7. We can already give a check now on f5. If you place g6, we can continue with queen takes e5, and now we have a mating threat here on h8. So this could be very interesting, of sacrificing here this piece, but we would of course have to calculate very well, is it really enough, because black can defend with knight to f6, trying to stay a piece up here. Now we need to take on f6, and if it takes, of course we take again. We don't trade queens. So what to do here with black? He could try to give a check on d1 in order to, after king to h2, trade queens, take, bishop takes. Now let's have a look at this position. What do we get here? We have a pawn. We have won a pawn with white. We have 5 pawns against 4 pawns, and we have same colored bishops, both dark square bishops. So this gives winning options for white. But still, again, this is not a very easy task. We need to play accurate this endgame to win it. So these are actually 2 good options to play: rook to a1 and bishop to e3. Now in the game a 3rd option was played, and that is a very beautiful move that has the same idea of deflecting this bishop from b6. It's the move c5. If bishop takes c5, then rook takes b7, and white has a very beautiful position. So to avoid this, black played queen takes e5. And now white's strategy shifts from the b file to the c file by playing rook to c1, attacking the queen. The queen went to a5, and now we start in this beautiful deflecting tactics. It's actually one deflecting move after the other. The first is bishop takes f6. It's not the idea to trade a light piece only just like that. The idea is to deflect the black rook from the d file. Let me show you. Black took here with a rook, and now we have a check on c8. Now you see that if the black rook would be on d6, he could play rook to d8, but he's now forced to play bishop to d8. So we have a position where this piece is very important and it must stay defended. So this gives white the possibility of doing another deflecting move, queen to c3, trying to deflect this queen. If queen takes queen, then rook takes d8, checkmate. Black went to b6, and once more deflecting the queen by queen to b2. If queen takes queen, again there is checkmate on d8. Queen to d6 was played now, and now the white queen could take on b7. It would have been a good move. There is also another very good move that's more aggressive, in fact, and that is what white did. He played f4. f4, threatening of course f takes e5, forking queen and rook. Black took on f4, and white advanced the pawn to e5. Black took, black didn't take here, but he could have taken on d5 like this, and then of course then we take on f6, and we have won the exchange, and still this bishop is pinned on d8. In the game he didn't take on d5. In the game he played queen to d7, so he's attacking white's rook as well. If we take f6, he will take c8. Take a look at the next move. It's again the same pattern, repeating the deflection concept. Queen takes b7, trying to deflect black's queen again from the defense of d8. If queen takes queen, again rook gives checkmate on the back rank. So he played queen to e8 here, and now the back rank is getting really weak. White didn't take here, of course, on f8, on f6, because then he has perpetual check black. Queen e1 check, king to h2, queen g3, and so forth and so forth. So white played here queen to b8, threatening to take on d8, winning the queen. Rook to d6. Well, black has to do something to try to defend. And this is a nice idea, a nice try, because if we take the rook with the pawn, then again black has perpetual check on e1 and g3. So white took here with the queen, and it's actually all over now. There is no way to save this game. There is a check on b6, that's true, and that's what he tried. Bishop b6 check was played, queen takes b6, queen takes c8. But as a result, now we see that white has won a piece, a complete piece. Well, for one pawn. But even more important is that black's king is not safe still. How would you continue this position? Perhaps you want to pause the video for a minute and have a look. I'll show you how it continued in the real game. White played e6 here, a very strong move, attacking the black's position, threatening to take on f7, threatening also to advance to e7, and then followed by queen to d8. Black played g5, and white advanced the pawn to e7. King to g7 was the plan of black to move away from this back rank, but here after bishop to c6 black had to resign. There's no way to stop the pawn from promoting e8 queens, and then it's easy. Now let's return to the initial position. What I like so much about this example is all this repetitive use of the concept of deflection. Well, it starts with c5 trying to, well, we could say deflect this bishop to take on b7, queen takes b7, rook to c1 attacking the queen. Then this deflection of the rook, deflecting the rook from the defense of d8, so then after this check only the bishop can go in between here, and here we start with this repetitive deflecting moves. Queen to c3 first, the queen goes away, queen to b2. Actually the white queen is saying, come on, come on, come on, get me. But there is no way to escape all this attack that follows here. F takes, and now the pawn advancing, forking queen and rook. Queen goes to d7 attacking the white rook, and now again the same idea of deflecting the defender. Rook to e8, and now we go to the back rank, threatening dangerously to take on d8. A nice try here, rook to d6, but white didn't fall into this trap of capturing with the pawn, of course. He took with the queen, and after bishop b6 it simply took the bishop. The rook falls, but we have this weapon now, this e-pawn that is advancing. Of course it cannot be taken because of bishop takes e6, win the queen. g5, now e7 wins, and the last position of the game here. Black resigned. Alright, I hope you found this interesting to see, and to see how tactical concepts and strategical plans actually go always hand in hand. Thanks for watching, leave your comments on YouTube, and I'll see you next time on day 16.